Hey there, Worldwide Wrestling Network, and also anyone on YouTube who happens to stumble across this video. I am Failed Hero 85, also known as FH, the co-owner and promoter, and remarkable Randall Reigns, the voice of the Worldwide Wrestling Network. And we just wanted to come to you today and tell you guys a little bit about what is going on with the Worldwide Wrestling Network, and to clarify a few things that where there have been some confusion over the last few months since November, and it's mostly our fault because we haven't really been as clear as we could be. So we're making this video so that we can add to some clarification. So without further ado, I want to bring Mr. Hamrick on to help me make some clarifications regarding how the roster works and how we do some business behind the scenes. Welcome, Mr. Hamrick.
All right, let's try to get this done as quick as possible. I know we are in the era of short attention span theater.
All right, so first of all, I wanted to let everybody know that the Worldwide Wrestling Network online account is accessible by myself and Gary, both. You are either talking to one of us, it's usually me, but sometimes during the day when I am not around, Gary will try to handle some business for us because I have a full-time teaching job, and Gary has his own schedule. And so, basically, the Worldwide Wrestling Network online account on Twitter is for basically business inquiries and to handle getting people onto the roster. Okay, we'll sometimes communicate that with that if we need to basically make this pure business, talking about something that is going on with the character. But a lot of times you're going to hear from myself at Failed Hero 85 directly, or if you're in the women's division, from at Gary Hamrick 75. Gary is legitimately the head booker and promoter from the wrestling standpoint of the women's division for the Worldwide Wrestling Network. So,
and in addition, I do also record some other matches for Cyclone and Melee.
right.
I will also be recording much of the Brass Knuckles tournament, which will be starting shortly.
Right, and the reason for that is so that if we can record and get ahead and he does some things during the day, I can come home and do the editing and the commentary, or we can commentate together, so to make sure that we are putting the best product together.
We also can edit things in post from the video manager that is in the game.
Which comes to us back to, not to override you, but
right.
Basically us coming back to, this isn't just a pure competition e-fed. There are plenty of those pure competition e-feds out there. We are attempting to book and run the Worldwide Wrestling Network very much like a real promotion, which needs story, intrigue, and entertainment, which is why you'll see every now and then screw job finishes, or you will see interference in matches where the angles look a little bit different. That's because we are either going into Video Manager, or we're creating a separate match to allow for that interference to happen, so that things will be able to have multiple levels and not just count wins and losses. Wins and losses do matter, and but there are a few things to some extent, because it helps move stories forward. The few things that we will always try to be straight up on, as far as AI versus AI pure competition, are tournaments and our title defenses. For the most part, especially when we are dealing with opportunities given to the guest characters, that is what we refer to as the individuals who are graciously allowing us to use their work, their characters, their creator wrestlers, their cause, however you want it to be referred to. We refer to them as guest characters because Gary and I have been creating and building in the Worldwide Wrestling Network for a long time.
For over ten years.
Yeah, and I know that I myself have been creating for nearly 15 years, going back to being a kid, and Gary has a similar track record, and he and I basically started combining our efforts in the last 3 years to really bring and put our heads together with our combined, not only creation experience, but our combined experiences with as wrestling fans and our experiences in the wrestling business. And
in the entertainment business.
Yes. And Gary himself comes from a background of basically filmmaking.
Media production, filmmaking. I've done a little bit with a promotion. It never saw the light. It will never see the light of day, thankfully. But done some work on a couple of TV pilots, a couple of film projects. Just nothing major.
And I myself, actually, despite being an agricultural teacher by trade, I actually come from a marketing and production background, which is why I am decent, not stellar, but decent at editing certain things. So, guys, the other thing that we wanted to address out loud and get it out in the open is that Worldwide Wrestling Network, we treat this legitimately as a wrestling promotion. We are going to work with you as professionals would in wrestling. Okay, we're going to be respectful. We're going to work with you. We want you guys to pitch ideas to us. Now, are we going to take those ideas always 100%? No, because we may have other plans. But if being in communication is a big part of this. We have our out of character locker room chat, which is designed like that so that ideas and reactions can be held up with no judgment, and basically just to get feedback from the roster about what they like, what they didn't like, and potentially see what ideas they might be able to spread out. What we would like to see going further and in the future is we would love to see a little more participation on social media from our roster, basically interacting and promoting the brand so that we can get things out there. We know that we have a lot of people watching us on our videos. We are getting approximately 30 to 60 people with every video, and it just depends on what's going on that week. But we're using the metric of the premiere plus 7. Okay, so premiere plus the first 7 days. We're getting some really decent views on YouTube, and what we need to do is to encourage some of those folks who are watching us on YouTube. We need to be as vocal about this brand as possible. And I've just asked, so just to wrap things up, G Hammer 75, if you are a lady in our Glow division, please contact Gary as soon as you get approved via our application process. When Failed Hero, myself, for the Worldwide Wrestling Network, basically says, hey, you're in, or you get added to the out of character chat, Gary Hamrick is your point of contact for the worldwide, for the women's roster. And
just to add something here, when you do contact me, what I am looking for is information about your character. I want to make sure that we are able to book your character as effectively as possible.
That is exactly what the application is about.
I don't care to know any personal drama, any any problems with other federations unless it is relevant to someone you are feuding with in our promotion.
And if you have also, if you do have an outstanding kayfabe feud, and for those of you who don't know what kayfabe is, kayfabe means it's something that's going on in the wrestling show. It's not legitimate problems and drama. Okay, if you do have a feud that is kind of ongoing or on and off with somebody else on our roster somewhere else, let us know. We might not be aware of it, and we might be able to use it if we contact those individuals in that organization. Or if it's an organization that you're not part of anymore, and they're not part of anymore, then we can at least reference that you guys have gone toe-to-toe previously. And this goes beyond the women's division. This goes into our men's division as well.
And it does. And another thing to add on to that is not on the application, if you have held specific titles in another promotion that were major title reigns or even minor title reigns, let us know a few of the titles you've held. It makes it easier for us to put stuff over about your character on commentary.
Very true.
We can say, this person held the heavyweight title or the women's title in this promotion. Whether you're talking about a male call or a female call, whatever type.
And that's true. And I know that some of our roster has wikis on the community wiki. If yours is updated,
I don't know that I've been to the community wiki.
I have.
I think I went once or twice.
Right.
I don't have it bookmarked. I don't normally go to it.
Yeah, but okay, but that's you. But if yours is updated, okay, and that is going to be the most accessible information, send us that link so that we don't have to track it down. Now, the last thing that we want to basically kind of go over before we end out this video is we want to talk about who are some of the organizations that we are partnered with. We are partnered, or at least have an affiliation with. We are affiliated with Call Development Wrestling, which is an up-and-coming, very soon organization that is going to be run by James Omega and Alexander Blacksmith, two members of our roster. We're going to be supporting that in different ways, mostly through promotion and cross-promotion potentially. We have a working relationship with Pro Wrestling Revolution, which is run by Dre at 41 of Call Creator fame. We have a working relationship with the Ultimate Wrestling Alliance, which is run by Daniel, aka D. We have a working relationship with Slam Wrestling, which is run by A.O. Sheed. And we have a working relationship and a supporting relationship with Brian Evans Pro Wrestling, Power Sport Wrestling. And so, guys, if you, we are willing to work with people, especially people who are very willing to be professional, and they don't have to share the same exact stats and views and ideas and game theory that we have. Just as long as you guys are trying to put out a cool product, be positive, and be supportive of other people. And that support can be all different things, from shout outs on Twitter to promoting our shows to helping us behind the scenes. I know that Daniel has helped us with a number of different things, from touching up creative wrestlers to helping us with arenas when we couldn't really get the idea that we wanted. He was able to. And Dre has always been a fantastic resource, and Brian has always been very supportive. So these, we are willing to work with a lot of folks, and we are leaving somebody out, and that is 1001, who runs Women's Federation Wrestling.
And I was going to mention him. I believe he is currently on PlayStation.
Yes.
primarily, but may be crossing over to Xbox at some point in the future. He mentioned it. I don't know if he was serious about it, but hey, we'll see.
And
Um,
but
Having
those
mentioned that, the guys you mentioned, I believe, are all on Xbox.
yes, all of those fans are Xbox fans.
And we are perfectly willing to work with PlayStation feds if they are willing to work with us. And again, as long as it is a professional relationship.
Exactly. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the last thing is our update window, and that's been up since the beginning of this video. That is going to be from March 4th to March 17th is our hiatus. Basically, we're taking a break for 2 weeks to get things straight so that we can come back stronger with our stories and with the wrestling that you guys are enjoying. So if you have updates to movesets, to characters, to entrances, to theme music, get all of that together between the weeks between March 4th and March 17th and contact myself at Failed Hero 85 or G Hamrick 75. There's going to be one thing that we are going to ask of you that some of you may be a little uncomfortable with, and we are asking you, please make your characters re-uploadable. Because we have, I know that I am running between 3 profiles on my account just to hold my personal creations, the WWWN roster, and the things that I am helping other people with. Gary Hamrick has one, but
I have one profile, and I've got somebody who might be helping me out with some stuff, saving content, but I've got to speak with them about it.
And basically, we need to be able to exchange characters on community creations, especially if you're in the brass knuckles and the women's division, so that we can kind of keep track of what's going on, and so that we don't have to keep so that you guys don't have to keep a character up on CC if you're not comfortable with it, and B, so that we will not have to continue to download from CC and we see a character go missing. Basically,
the other thing, and this is something you and I have both done. If you are not particularly comfortable with making your character re-uploadable, please contact us.
Yes, let us know.
Upload a version of it temporarily so that we can get it and you take it down immediately as re-uploadable.
And usually we're very easy to work with. Ask anybody on our roster. We're very easy to work with, as long as you stay professional and try to stay positive and trust us enough. If you're trusting us enough to let us use your character, let us take the time to figure out how to use your character effectively. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, in the words of Lord Cyrus of Moldovia, stay safe
And stay over.